Learning theories explain how people learn. Methods show how we can teach, and didactic principles are the rules that make teaching actually work. They are the backbone of didactics. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about everything you need to know about didactics, and that includes learning theories, methods you will use to teach, and also some principles that will make your teaching effective. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we dive in, let's define what didactics means. It means the science and the art of teaching. And since we're talking about English, we are dealing with how to teach English effectively. Didactics is not just a theory for theory's sake. It's a foundation for how we choose methods, design lessons, and make students learn effectively. Now that we know what didactics is, the next big question is, based on what do teachers make decisions about methods and strategies they choose? The answer is learning theories. Why? Because it's built on our understanding of how people learn. And if we know how learning works, then we can design teaching that really works. Alright, let's start with behaviorism, where learning is all about changing behavior through practice and reinforcement. And that can be done by using drills, repetition, and giving quick feedback. Next, you have cognitivism, which is about how the mind processes and organizes information. And in didactics, this means structuring content clearly using visuals and helping students build mental connections. Then we have constructivism, where learners actively build knowledge, especially through social interactions. And as a teacher, you can apply this by using group works, problem-solving tasks, or group projects. Then we have constructivism, where learning happens when students actively build knowledge, especially through social interactions. And as a teacher, you can apply this by using group works, group projects, or even problem-solving tasks. Last but not least, we have humanism, where learning is all about personal growth and motivation. And in didactics, you can apply this by considering your students' opinion or respecting their pace and creating a safe environment for them. We can also talk about social learning, where students learn by imitating and observing others. And in didactics, it includes role models, peer teaching, and collaborative learning. This one I'm about to mention is very important, and it is multiple intelligences. Why? Because you have to consider your students' learning styles and their needs, and of course, each of your students has their own strengths. For example, visual, logical, physical, logical, etc. So you really need to use variety of methods and not just one method for everyone. So let me know if you want me to go deeper into explaining these multiple intelligences. Okay, so learning theories are the way students learn, but as teachers, we cannot stop at the level of theory. We need to turn these ideas into life, and that's when teaching methods come in. And methods are simply the practical techniques that we use in class to make these learning theories come to life. Alright everyone, let's look briefly at some teaching methods that have shaped language learning. First of all, we have GTM, also known as Grammar Translation Method. This specific method focuses on reading and writing, memorizing vocabulary and grammar. Also translation, especially translating from L1 to the target language. For example, translating text, translating synonyms, paragraphs, etc. The second one is the direct method, which focuses on speaking and listening with no translation at all, and grammar and vocabulary, their thoughts in context. The third one is the Audio-Lingual method, where the teacher uses repetition and drills, dialogues, practice patterns, etc. This method has a strong behaviorist influence because it sees learning as a habit formation. The fourth one is Suggestopedia, where students are comfortable and relaxed, often with music, which encourages positive suggestion. It focuses on motivation and lowering the affective filter. This method is more linked to the humanism because it emphasizes personal growth. The fifth one is the communicative language teaching, which focuses on meaningful interactions and real life communication. And the teacher in this method uses a lot of group works and jigsaw activities. It is also linked to the constructivist theory and the social learning theory. The last one I'm going to talk about is the total physical response. This one is very good for beginners, especially children, because they can respond physically to commands. For example, touch your nose, pick your book, stand up, etc. It is also linked to the cognitive and the kinesthetic learning because students get to be actively engaged with the teacher. Okay, so we talked about how students learn, some of the methods you can use to teach, but even the best methods can't work if it's not guided by core principle. So let's talk about some golden rules to make the teaching effective. All right, the first rule is clarity. Always be clear, always structure your lessons so students know what to expect. This helps them focus and absorb knowledge more effectively. Next, we have progression. Move from simple to complex, from known to unknown, like a step-by-step learning. The third rule is active learning. Learners must do, not just listen, because activities engage the brain and strengthens the memory. By that I mean learning by doing. For example, group works, hands-on activities, and role plays. Next, we have adaptation. Always tailor your students' level, needs, and interests. For example, use visuals for visual learners. Use music for musical learners. By doing this, you respect different strengths and motivations. Next, we have motivation and relevance. Students are more motivated when lessons are matter to them. So try to make learning meaningful. You can connect to real life, to experiences, to their goals. They will enjoy it a lot. Last but not least, feedback. Feedback is very important. Why? Because it reinforces learning. You can do that by praising your students, guiding improvement, or correcting mistakes. Following these principles and whatever method you choose, whether it's GTM, CLT, or TPR, or Suggestopedia, it will work for the better. Why? Because principles turn theory into real effective teaching.